Let's go! I don't know, let's start off a video like that. Yes, let's go! Because we're going to talk about some 6-star champions and whether or not they should be put into the game. Look, hello everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're like calm down. I need to calm down. We all need to calm down. Let's talk about 6-stars, as I said. So there's going to be, as you know, a lot of champions that are 6-star that are not in the 6-star pool, 6-star availability. You know, you're looking right here like, oh, hello, Hyperion, 6-star Hyperion, recently been put in, as well as Iceman, as well as various smorgasbord of other champions. But there's a lot of them that are actually missing from the inclusion in the game. You know, off the top of my head, Blade is definitely one of them. You know, you can't see him there, he's not there. And also Quake, which, you know, a lot of people really like Quake. Yeah, people like Quake. She does quaking things and lots of damage, and it's always been a bone of contention whether or not that champion should be put into game. The crazy thing about this is that, and as we're going to look in a moment, it's pretty much complete when it comes to 6-star champions being added into the game. And yeah, like currently Magic hasn't been added in, OG Scarlet Witch, which has recently been a 5-star featured, Labtron or Ultron from Labyrinth of Legends, Quake, which, you know, we mentioned, Wolverine is a 6-star, OG Deadpool, and Blade. Now, it's always going to be a bone of contention. I'm not going to thoroughly kind of debate the issue because I think it's more of a multiplayer perspective that we need to go like, okay, well, who is on the for and who's against when it comes to these type of champions being brought in. And we can honestly say that we don't think Kabam would be so inclined to put certain champions in that players would use in order to get content done quicker, more effectively, more efficiently. But at the same time, let's face it, there's some champions out there that just do some nuts damage. I've seen loads of things. You can take many champions into various different bits of content and find that absolutely smashing stuff. I mean, case in point would be a 6-star Hyperion, which on the roles of RNG and damage is putting in an exponential amount of, well, damage, building up those fury buffs as quickly as possible, smacking in with SP2s, continuous SP2s in some cases, and yeah, like seeing some big yellow numbers at the same time, or just big numbers in general. It's just an absolute delight. But also in comparison with other cosmic champions that have been brought in with the likes of Hercules, you're definitely seeing some huge amounts of damage potential from most champions. So you kind of ask the question as to like, well, why can you allow stuff one way but you're not able to see the light when it comes to that? And, you know, with Scarlet Witch as a 5-star, which I didn't think was going to be a possibility, it's a case that I believe Kabam decided to like tweak numbers of certain things. I mean, the champion isn't exactly up there. I've definitely seen some decent stuff with her. I'm not going to knock her. I'm not going to say that she's going to be she's bad, but definitely with the Scarlet Witch sigil, I've been more interested in, you know, excited about that version than I have been with the 5-star classic version, which I just found was a bit of an odd thing to add it in. But, you know, Kabam will do these things at times to add stuff in and add more value to something like the Summoner's Sigil, which did need a kind of bump with value, because prior to a lot of the changes, it's just been ass when it comes to like the value for money side of things. Because I know people will say like, okay, well, it's behind a paywall and, you know, it's pay to win. But at the same time, those that want to spend, because this isn't, you know, a free-to-play game, you know, from a point of access, it needs to make money through microtransactions. It just felt like, okay, well, you're spending your money, you're getting nothing of value from it except for the Black ISO market, which again is kind of like very undervalued, but I digress. The point really comes back to, well, it can go one way but can't go the other. Magic is another case in point for this. It's perfectly acceptable for Kabam to put 6-star versions of this champion into content which is ultimately going to suck the player dry when it comes to the very delightful ability to limbo. Oh, that's nice. That's taken a lot of damage away. And why can't it be run both ways? You know, going into variant 8. As I said, I'm very critical of the fact there is a pressure gauge with life transfer, and there's another node on there at the same time, which basically means that you are just applying in units to get the content done, and that's just not it, especially because it's a 6-star Magic you go up against. So okay, so Kabam's, it's perfectly acceptable for them to have that in the game, but it's not perfectly acceptable for you to have a 6-star version. Is it going to be a case that this is going to cause problems for things like alliance wars? Because that's another kind of element that needs to be considered as well. If Kabam feel that if you put that on a defensive line, that's going to be sucking away more health from your hero as opposed to you being able to have a fair fight. So yeah, with a lot of the stuff that we've seen with those featured champions, Hyperion, Iceman, we've seen Dr. Voodoo, which I don't think was available for a little while as a 6-star, but then became available. Then would we see the likes of Blade, OG Deadpool, Wolverine, Quake, Labtron, OG Scarlet Witch, and Magic in a quicker time? I just don't think that the Labtron or the Labyrinth of Legends Ultron is a good champion. It needs a real kind of buff in order to get up to the current meta, and it may be good at the point of, like, I don't know, 1 month after Labyrinth of Legends, but then slowly falls by the wayside, especially with Ultron being buffed recently. The other ones, again, are a bit of a bone of contention, especially with OG Deadpool, which, let's face it, most of the time, if you've got Platinum Pool and Gold Pool, the OG version will be trapped behind a paywall. Let's queue up another paywall solo event in order to get the 6-star version, shall we? Or a special arena, which, let's face it, that may be the next time, which is slightly disappointing, especially considering that we've had a Variant 8 that has been, geared for a champion like this. Yeah, 3-star works fine. Yeah, even 1-star, 2-star works fine. We're taking the content. I use the 3-star version. But yeah, imagine using a 5-star or 6-star. Some people did use a 5-star and 6-star. I don't know. As I said, next solo event that's behind a paywall. So there is 7 key champions that still haven't been given their 6-star light of day. And you could think as well, there are some other champions that haven't really been considered. They may be in the game and could be considered for, pushes. We still haven't seen Jessica Jones. We still haven't seen Jean Grey, who was a secret champion. If you haven't seen my secret champion videos, I may do something down the line. I'm thinking about doing another video next month called Why Haven't Kabam Returned Back, to create more secret champions or unplayable champions. But I wanted to do something like this that kind of said, look, at the end of the day, Kabam have the power. They have the power to bring these 6-star champions that they may be reluctant on putting into the game down the line. They've definitely made inroads to put those 6-star featured champions in. We've seen the likes of Iceman, Ghost Rider, Hyperion, and many others this year. It does lead me to think that there is a strong chance that next year we will indeed see a 6-star version of some of the various ones mentioned, like indeed Blade, OG Deadpool, Wolverine, Quake, Labtron, OG Scarlet Witch, and Magic. I feel very confident on that because they can make sure that it's not over damaging, but still keeping in the same trend of allowing those champions to go in. It's been a massive debate on social media. I've seen several people talking about the idea of, okay, well, if you had a rank 4 and rank 5 6-star version of the champion, how much it would excel at damage, looking at someone like Quake. But again, people would miss the fact that Kabam can still tweak that little bit of damage that the champion does. Like, say, for whatever reason, per tick, Quake can get upwards of 4,000. Well, Kabam could make sure that it never exceeds an extra 1k. I'm not saying that should be the process Kabam follow, but definitely they could balance it better without taking any kind of hit to lower Quakes. But that's just going to be a bigger problem for Kabam. However, it's going to be other champions that are more easy to take into consideration of bringing into the game, making sure their stats are more kind of fair, especially looking at the 5-star and 5-star to 6-star progression. Now, there is work Kabam can do to some champions, especially by like ticks of regeneration or the amount of bleed that the character does. I mean, case in point could be like Blade and Wolverine, because again, like those bleed numbers or those ticks can be kind of like reduced down. The same thing when it comes to regeneration volume and other things like that. Blade, I personally would love to see as a 6-star. As a massive Blade fan, and in particular, I mean, we got the in the background here. We got Blade in the background. It was the first ever Marvel film that I watched, and I shouldn't have watched it with the age that I did. I was quite young when I watched it, but I was just kind of like absolutely amazed. Wesley Snipes' presence, delivery, and yeah, I just love the Wesley Snipes versions. I'm kind of like, I'm a bit unsure about it because I put a lot of love into Wesley Snipes' Blade, but we'll see what happens with Mahershala Ali I'm probably butchering that name, but you know, yeah, I'm hopeful that it's going to be a good portrayal, and that's just the thing. But yeah, I'd love to see a 6-star version, and as well as a Wolverine fan, it would be great to see you know, Wolverine 6-star down the line. But I think those two are more likely. It's just going to be some of the other ones, of course, are going to be a bit of a bone of contention as to whether or not they get put in. I mean, yeah. What are your thoughts? Like, I'll throw it over to the comment section now. What are your thoughts on some of these champions being brought in? Do you think that it's less likely to see something like Quake? And is she the least likely to? And what's the most likely you think is going to be brought into the game? It'd be interesting to think and find out about what players' thought process is on. And maybe we'll do, I don't know, a special podcast or a special thing where we bring people in to the podcast to kind of like have a look at the pros and cons, debate it a little bit more. But yeah, I thought I'd do a video just to kind of say, like, these are the final 6-star champions, or yeah, 6-star champions that haven't been made into 6-star. The final champions that haven't been made into 6-star. But yeah, that has been the video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. And also make sure to hit the like button and check out some other content, which will be located on screen right about now. And I will see you in the next video, whenever that will be. I've turned into a Dalek. Bye-bye, everybody.